Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Slot suggests Liverpool with return for summer transfer target. Arne Slot has suggested that Liverpool will return for Mark Guehi after a failed move for the Crystal Palace defender this summer. Guhei underwent a medical with Liverpool ahead of a proposed $35 million transfer to Anfield on deadline day. However, the deal broke down after Palace failed to secure a replacement for the club captain. Slot admitted it was a pity for both Liverpool and the player that a deal fell through, but hinted the transfer could be revisited in the coming months. Guehi has entered the final season of his contract at Palace and will be available on a free transfer in 2026. It would be ridiculous if I'm going to deny we were close. That is out in the open. These things happen in football. We would have liked to sign him, Slot said at his pre-match press conference ahead of facing Burnley this weekend. It is a pity for us and the player, but he is in a good place at Crystal Palace. Let's see what the future brings for him and us. Liverpool did secure a deal for Alexander Isak on deadline day, sealing the £125 million British record transfer of the forward from Newcastle. Slot admitted the busy nature of Liverpool's business was unusual, but said he was delighted to sign Isak in the closing stages of the window. A lot of things happened on the last day, which is not always the situation. As last season, we hardly did anything in the whole window. The thing that pleases me most is us getting the deal for Alex Isak over the line. Everyone involved worked so hard to get the deal done. It's good for the club, for the fans, for the players, and for me that all the work they have put in resulted in Alex signing for us. Michael Olise is perfect. Mohamed Salah, heir, and Liverpool should be confident of transfer. Liverpool is already being linked with Michael Olise. Such is the insatiable appetite of the transfer rumor mill. The Reds have just made sweeping, record-breaking additions to their attack. And yet all the same, a future raid on Bayern Munich to replace Mohamed Salah makes a great deal of sense. For all the business Liverpool has done, nobody fits the mold as a Salah heir. Perhaps you could make the case that Isak is the long-term replacement as the main source of goals, but that still leaves a vacancy on the right wing once the Egyptian hangs up his boots. With the talent already at Slot's disposal, there would be ways of replacing Salah within the existing group, tweaking the system to field Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, and Cody Gakpo together. And given Rio Ngumoha's obvious sky-high potential, some might wonder if he could eventually find a home on the right. But if Liverpool showed one thing this summer, it's that it has no interest in putting a cap on its own ambitions. Isak came through the door after Ekitike had already been recruited. Arne Slot would rather be spoiled for choice than risk being short on options, and Olise fits into the same category of potential game-changers. While his talent was obvious in the Premier League, it has become apparent since he joined Bayern Munich that he is among the very best in the world. For reference, Ekitike is the same age as Olise, and only just managed to earn his first France caps, 2 short cameos that looked more designed to keep him out of the Cameroon setup than anything else. The Bayern star is up to 10 caps, and his place is no longer up for any significant debate. In his first season in the Bundesliga, Olise racked up 12 goals and 18 assists, eye-catching numbers even in a side as dominant as Bayern Munich. The all-time assist record for a single season is held by Thomas Müller with 21, and he only managed 8 goals that year. At 23, Olise is yet to even hit his peak. That should arrive within the next few years, an exciting prospect. Throughout most of footballing history, Liverpool would therefore have had to consider Olise out of reach. Even at their peak, the Reds have rarely gone for the absolute foremost stars of the game, territory toward which the Frenchman is rapidly heading. But times are changing. And while Bayern Munich would be a hugely reluctant seller, Liverpool has reason to be confident that it could get a deal done. For one thing, the financial strength of the Premier League is at an all-time high. Even the traditional European giants are being left behind by the wealth of the English top flight, which delivers more revenue than the Bundesliga and La Liga combined. And even among the English clubs, Liverpool is just about at the top of the food chain. It lured Wirtz ahead of not only Bayern but also Manchester City. and it extracted potentially the best striker in the world out of Newcastle. Meanwhile, German legends like Michael Ballack are questioning whether Bayern is really still a genuine endgame destination for the world's best players. He believes the Bundesliga is declining in status. Fundamentally, I'm concerned about something else, Ballack said. Let's take Wirtz as an example. Does it make sense for him and his development to play in the Bundesliga for Bayern for another 2 or 3 years? Of course he wins championships there, but is the Bundesliga still a challenge for him at the highest level? No, because the Bundesliga was overtaken by the Premier League years ago. That's the reality. That's why it's generally no longer as attractive for the absolute top players. That's why changes are needed. Getting into the specifics, Bayern does at least have the protection of a contract until 2029 with Olise. Newcastle just learned that this isn't a foolproof shield. But the German champion will be reasonably confident it retains enough status to prevent the jewel of its crown actively going on strike to force through a move to Anfield. However, modern clubs have to think many steps ahead. By next summer, 2029 will be just 3 years away, and in this day and age that triggers something of a countdown. Come 2027, Bayern would certainly need to think about either renewing or selling. And with Salah's contract at Liverpool up in the same year, that may prove to be perfect timing. By then, Liverpool may well have had an intervening quiet summer, ready to gear up for an assault on Olise. Bayern Munich would surely do business at the right price, albeit reluctantly to avoid the risk of a free transfer. Olise, who would no doubt be enticed by the idea of taking over from Salah, would be the final piece of Liverpool's attacking puzzle. With the Frenchman and Wirtz feeding Isak and Ekitike, Anfield could have its attack for the next half-decade or more. His rare blend of creativity and end product make him uniquely qualified to follow Salah, who in recent years has become creator-in-chief on top of his goal-scoring burden. And as a natural left-footer, he could fit in without needing to alter the system. By the time 2027 rolls around, getting Olise might require a bid that breaks records all over again. But Liverpool is operating within a structure that makes such moves possible through careful long-term planning, and the 23-year-old looks like the perfect plan for a future without Salah. Arne Slot speaks out on Mark Guehi transfer after Liverpool disappointment. Arne Slot refused to be drawn on whether Liverpool will revisit their interest in Mark Guehi in January, as he shared his disappointment at missing out on the England international on transfer deadline day. The Reds had agreed a 35 million deal with Crystal Palace, with the defender even starting to undergo a medical, only for the Eagles to pull the plug on the switch after failing to sign a replacement. The 25-year-old remains out of contract at the end of the season, with Liverpool retaining interest in his services, but while he could be available for a cut-price fee in January, the Reds are at present unlikely to move for Guehi in the new year, given the player will be available on a free next summer. Speaking to the media for the first time since transfer deadline day, Slot admitted it was a pity for both Liverpool and Guehi that the transfer fell through. However, the Dutchman insisted his side will not be left short at centre-back despite missing out on the Crystal Palace captain. Nah. I think it would be ridiculous if I'm going to deny we were close to signing him, he admitted. That is so out in the open that would be ridiculous. These things happen in football. It happened to our players maybe in the past as well that they thought they were so close to signing somewhere else. And then in the last moment, things change. This can happen. For me, we would like to sign him, of course, because we were in for him. Like I have said many times, if we feel we can strengthen the team with a chance in the market, we never hesitated to do so, and that's what we tried to do. But we played 1 or 2 days before. We played Arsenal, where Virgil and Ibu played an outstanding game, and Joe came in 20 minutes before the end and did outstanding as well. With us signing Giovanni Leone, who had his first international call-up, and Ryan, Gravenberch, and Wada, Endo, that can play there, so it is not like all of a sudden we don't have options in that position anymore. It's a pity, but not only for us, but also for the player, I think. But he's in a good place, playing at Palace where he won the Community Shield and the FA Cup with a very good manager as well. Let's see what the future brings for him and for us. If I am thinking anything about the January transfer window, you know that what I think, I don't tell you. The thing I think most about is Burnley at the moment. I can assure you, in the immediate aftermath of Guehi's move to Liverpool falling through, it was not lost on onlookers how he had continued to play and train for Crystal Palace, only to be denied the move while Alexander Isak essentially went on strike at Newcastle, United to force through his own switch to Anfield. But Slot refused to compare the situations as he reiterated his delight at bringing Isak to the club. I don't think you can compare any situation with another, he said. Different ownership, different situation. I think you cannot compare these. I'm really happy that Alex signed for us because I did feel all the way that we needed an attacking player extra. So happy that we could bring in the one we wanted from the start. Arne Slot confirms. Guehi transfer plan, Liverpool will be back. Liverpool manager. Arne Slot has broken his silence about the prospect of signing Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace following the club's failed attempt to land the England defender at the end of the transfer window. The Reds enjoyed a spectacular summer, with the only blot coming as they missed out on Guehi. Slot's side appeared primed to land the centre-back from Premier League rivals Palace, only for the plug to be pulled on the deal at the last moment by the London outfit. Slot. Liverpool wanted Guehi and will try again now. The Dutchman has spoken out about the disappointment at missing out on the 25-year-old, but he says Liverpool will be back. I think it would be ridiculous if I will deny we were close. It was so out in the open. These things happen in football, he told the media on Friday. It's happened to our players before. It can happen. We would like to sign him, of course, because we were in for him. If we feel we can strengthen, then we will try to. We played Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, who were outstanding against Arsenal, and Joe Gomez as well. We also signed Giovanni Leone, who had a call-up, and we have Wataru Endo and Ryan Gravenberch as well, so it's not that we don't have the players. It's a pity for the player, but he is at a good club. Underlining the fact that Liverpool are ready to make another assault on Guehi, who will become a free agent next summer when his contract expires. Slot added, "Let's see what the future brings for us. January or summer. I don't tell you, but I am thinking of Burnley." Liverpool were prepared to pay $40 million for Guehi in the summer, with the 25-year-old boasting an estimated transfer value, ETV, of 42.5. Latest. Liverpool injury news as new absence confirmed, and Alexander Isak concern explained. Liverpool manager. Arne Slot has given an update on Alexander Isak's fitness as the striker hopes to make his debut for the club this weekend. Isak completed a $125 million deadline day move to Anfield from Newcastle United. Isak is yet to play any domestic football this season, with him training away from the main Newcastle group amid speculation over his future throughout the summer. In fact, Isak's first minutes this campaign came for Sweden as a second-half substitute in the 2-0 loss against Kosovo on Monday. He has since returned to Liverpool and has been training with his new teammates for the first time this week. He could make his debut for the club when Liverpool take on Burnley at Turf Moor on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. kickoff. Ahead of that game, Slot has given the latest on Isak's fitness, saying that the club will be cautious with his return to action. First of all, I think the Swedish manager Jon Dahl Tomasson deserves a big compliment because he gets one of the best. Maybe the best striker in the world and he needs to play 2 very important games for his country, but understands that if he would play him twice for 90 minutes, then probably the player would have been injured for multiple weeks, he said in his pre-match press conference. And that's not always easy for a manager, that he takes care of the interest of a player. So he deserves a big compliment for that, and we will treat Alex the same as they did. So don't expect him to be every single game 90 minutes on the pitch. That is definitely not going to happen in the upcoming weeks. He missed a proper preseason. I think he missed 3 or 4 months of team sessions, so now we have to build him up gradually. With us playing so many games, hardly any training time, so that is going to be a challenge. But we have signed him not only for the upcoming weeks, but we have signed him for 6 years. So this is what we have to keep in mind, and what the fans have to keep in mind if they see that I take him off at a certain moment, or if I only bring him in for a small amount of minutes. That is all for the long-term fitness of the player. Isak is not the only player Liverpool will be monitoring in terms of fitness ahead of the game. Slot has also confirmed a blow over the availability of midfielder Curtis Jones. Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.